In Holyoke, JM Electrical and a Ford dealership announced their electrical vehicle charging stations.
That's just one stop we make as Western Mass News goes town by town. The Boston-based electrical contractor will install charging stations located at Marcotte Ford in Holyoke. All installations of this cutting-edge technology is set to finish this fall.
Now over to West Springfield, where the Majestic Theater will host a screening of the Irish documentary In the Name of the Sun at 7 p.m. tomorrow. The film tells the story of Mags Reardon, who made a pilgrimage to Lake Malawi in Africa, where her son Billy drowned. She set up a clinic there in his name and has since gone on to save thousands of lives. There will be a talkback after the show featuring Reardon, a clinical director, and the director of the film.
And the Chicopee Police Department will be holding an RAD self-defense, also known as Rape Aggression Defense System, class for women. Classes will be held on October 17th, 24th, November 7th, and November 14th from 6 to 9 p.m. This free class is designed to teach women about situational awareness as well as self-defense techniques. The deadline to apply is October 6th, and we'll be right back on the other side of this break.